So let's talk about Reylo. First of all, as if I have to say this, Last Jedi spoilers. The movie's been out for like 2 months, bro. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't know what to tell you, but what is Reylo? Now, if you're a Star Wars fan, you know what Reylo is. If you're in the community, especially if you are a Reylo shipper. But for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Reylo is the idea or the concept that at some point before the end of this trilogy, before the end of Star Wars Episode 9, Rey and Kylo Ren are going to become a romantic item. Not platonic friends, they're going to actually hook up. And it's been a theory that's been discussed since Force Awakens came out because there are some scenes in Force Awakens that may demonstrate a little bit of sexual tension. And in Last Jedi, it was taken to a whole new level. We've got Rey and Kylo where he's shirtless. They have that Force bond. Rey wants to turn Kylo to the good side because she sees good in him. Kylo wants to turn Rey to his side. They have this weird kind of, affection for each other. They really do. The movie demonstrates they have a kind of affection. Even to the very end of the movie where Rey leaves on the Falcon and Kylo has this look of sadness. And it's hard to figure out whether that look of sadness represented the fact that, he was, I guess, played for a fool by Luke Skywalker, or that his mom was just there and that he saw the dice, which represented his father, or also it could be because Rey and him may never, in his mind, come together, so to speak. Plus, there's also tons of other clues in the film where they had a little bit of sexual chemistry when they're touching fingers and Luke Skywalker's like, no! And, there's a lot of clues about Reylo. So the Reylo shippers who went in to see this movie got a lot out of it. So the question is, what is the possibility, what are the chances that at the end of this saga, Rey and Kylo might actually become an item? While others think, well, that's not going to happen. Well, it's going to be an interesting thing to see what happens because I don't know. See, the idea behind this trilogy from the beginning is that it's going to be the end of the Skywalker saga. The Skywalkers will be no more, and that implies that at the end of this trilogy, at the end of Episode 9, Ben Solo, who is a Skywalker by proxy, by mother, is going to die. The thing about characters like Kylo Ren and like Darth Vader is that, the shippers think that Rey will redeem Kylo and bring him to the good side, and that maybe they'll get together by the end of Episode 9, and that maybe they might even have some kids, and then those kids could end up being the focal point of Episodes 10, 11, and 12. And that certainly would make sense because it kind of follows that Star Wars poetry that George Lucas talks about. They rhyme, where you have the continuing saga. But then technically, if Rey and Kylo do have kids, they would be of the Skywalker lineage because Ben Solo is a Skywalker, and you can't deny that by blood. So that contradicts the Skywalker saga statement coming to an end in Episode 9 that Kathleen Kennedy had made. But perhaps what she meant was the Skywalker legacy as far as just Luke and Leia. She may have meant that, and that's what I think the Reylo shippers are saying, that, the old Skywalkers are gone, but the Ben Solo Rey kids might be the new Skywalkers. Maybe, maybe not. I can't really predict that because it's all going to depend on where Episode 9 goes. But the issue with Rey redeeming Kylo is that I do feel like Kylo Ren is a tortured soul. Ben Solo is a tortured soul, and without question, and I think most of us will agree to this, Kylo Ren is the most interesting character in the new trilogy. Of all the new ones, he's the most interesting character, I think. More than Rey, Finn, and Poe. And I'm not saying I don't like those characters, but Kylo Ren is very interesting. And I think the main storyline of Episode 9 is going to be Kylo adjusting to being the supreme leader while also feeling a tremendous amount of guilt and confliction for what he's done. He killed off his father figures, Han Solo, Snoke. Luke Skywalker was also a father figure. Kylo didn't kill him, but he certainly tried to. He thought he was going to do it. And I feel like Kylo is going to have a sense of true loneliness. And I think the big theme of Episode 9 is going to be that the dark side might give you power, but true power leads to loneliness. And it's not something that's even a Star Wars thing. every great Shakespearean tragedy or every great story in the real world, when you make it to the top, it's lonely at the top. I mean, one of the great all-time films that covers this is The Godfather. Look what happened to Michael Corleone. He got rid of the 5 families, became the kingpin, but at the end of the day, he committed so many bad acts that he couldn't even live with himself in many cases. You know, it was lonely at the top. Same thing with Scarface. You know, another Al Pacino Shakespearean movie. You know, Manny died. Spoiler alert. His sister died. He died at the very, very, very end. You know, he lost everybody. You know, and that's how it is when you are corrupted by power. So the Reylo shippers think that Rey might be the key to Kylo finding his love, and Kylo might be the key for Rey to find her love and make up for the emptiness that they both have. And to be honest with you, that's the best part about this saga, that we have these two characters that are emotionally, you know, scarred because of their parents, both of them, you know, and their father figures and mother figures and whatnot. So them coming together based on their, let's just be honest here, need for therapy makes sense. So I can't even sit here and be that guy who's like, oh, you Reylo shippers are out of your mind. But the issue with it is that, can Kylo Ren truly be redeemed? He killed Han Solo, which is one of Star Wars' most beloved, maybe the most beloved Star Wars character. He's done all these bad things. He's the true supreme leader. The answer is, it's possible, but here's the other kind of monkey wrench. In the real world, let's say you have somebody who's a murderer, and they eventually feel guilty for it, turn themselves in, and decide to lead a life of good. They still have to go to prison. They have to pay for those crimes, right, in the society that we live in. So usually what happens with these Shakespearean tragedies, like Kylo Ren, is that, or we know whatever character, is that these characters become good, but then they immediately die. Sort of like what happened with Darth Vader. Like, he becomes good, but at the end of the day, there's not anywhere for the character to go, and thus the writers kind of kill him off, you know, in a very emotional way. Like, he dies a good man, but he still dies. So even though he dies at peace with himself, he still dies. The issue is that, how is the redemption going to happen? How is Kylo going to realize that he screwed up? I don't know. I'm not J.J. Abrams. Will the fans accept a redeemed Kylo Ren? Let me know in the comments what you think. I really want to read these comments, because this is a really split thing here. And please be nice to each other, because even if you like Reylo or if you don't, you know, there are different ways this story could go. But I just feel like the idea of them getting together and having kids, even though it might seem like a perfect happy ending, is it one that really is going to happen, considering that they're going to, you know, end the Skywalker story and kind of move on with different Jedi and different Force users from across the galaxy? And Last Jedi's sub-narrative or meta-narrative really pushed that, you know, with the Broom Kid. They're going to move past the Skywalkers. With Kylo Ren still being alive, since he is the last Skywalker, I find it just very difficult for them to do that, which I know might irritate some Reylo shippers, but just look at the evidence in front of you. And is it something where people are going to accept it? Like, I don't know, but I'll tell you this. I will tell you this right now. The scene in Last Jedi where Rey and Kylo team up against the Praetorian Guards was not only the best scene in the movie, in my opinion, but the one that got the most applause. People in the movie theater were losing their minds. There are Star Wars fans, and many of them, who want to see Kylo on the good side, who want to see him and Rey together. Maybe not even as a couple, maybe just as friends. They want to see Kylo be a good guy because they sympathize with him in a way. You know, tortured souls always get sympathy from the audience. So, yes, there's money to be made from a good Kylo Ren, but with them killing off Snoke, are they going to have to introduce a new villain? You know, I think the ballsiest thing they can do, and this is very, very ballsy, because everybody kept saying, oh, Last Jedi was bold and went in new directions. It wasn't that bold, but if you really want to get bold, what they should do is end Episode 9 with a cliffhanger. That's right. This is something that's really... Hold on. Wait a minute. End Episode 9 with a cliffhanger. Announce 10, 11, and 12. And then maybe you could do a storyline where Kylo goes good if you're given more time to develop it. I don't know if one movie is going to be enough to turn Kylo good. He has to make up for all the bad things he did. So maybe if they end Episode 9 with a cliffhanger, then we have a new villain coming in. Somebody... I don't know who it would be. They have to make it up. Maybe another Snoke Apprentice or something. Then we have 3 more movies where they could develop the Reylo thing. But if 9 is going to be the end of the Skywalker saga, I just don't see Kylo Ren making it out alive. I see him dying and, becoming a figure of legend in many ways. Maybe like Luke and Vader. Because Luke and Vader are legends in the galaxy. And I think Kylo could be that. The kid who did what Vader couldn't do, and that's become the supreme leader and rule the galaxy for a very short time. What Palpatine did. What do you think about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you a Reylo shipper? What are the chances of Reylo actually happening? And do you like my scenario of them doing 9 with a cliffhanger and then doing 10, 11, and 12 to really wrap up the story? And yes, before anybody else says something, I know that Daisy Ridley says she's only doing 3 movies, but she's going to come back for more, bro. If they keep Rey alive, if Rey does not die at episode 9, she'll come back. All they have to do is give her a new contract. Same thing with Adam Driver. So, Disney will get them back. It's freaking Disney. So, let me know what you think, and we'll talk to y'all later.